Maybe you don't know.
This time to build. 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 This time power. This time to build power. This time to build power. This time to build power.
Dear Alex, congrats on 100 V10s. I've been rooting for you for who knows how many of those, and seeing it done has put a battery in my back to keep chasing my own goals. I'll be rooting for you for the next 100 of whatever as well, but that's only partly why I'm writing this. Reinvention is often necessary for survival, but that doesn't make it less impressive or less brave. As someone who pays close attention to subtleties of the climbing world, I've watched you reinvent yourself several times, somehow never losing the thread that roots you so deeply into this community. I admire that ability and have always aimed to do the same myself. Reinvention can be risky. Our identities are wrapped up in not only how we feel about ourselves, but also how others perceive us, whether we like it or not. And when the perception is positive, we like it, so we run with it. To leave that behind, even if not entirely, can be scary. Particularly for the folks like the two of us and so many others who make our goals public. I sometimes wonder if you're hesitant to relinquish the security of secretly having your goals to yourself and your circle, or if, like myself, you're just so bursting with the idea of the goal that there's no hope of keeping it under wraps. Personally, I enjoy the accountability of letting everyone know, but I also understand the downside of that. And when I see another person posting their goals on virtual billboards for the world to see, I always watch with interest to see how it unfolds. And nearly always, I root for that person. When you first began sieging the Swarm, I rooted for you. I know that campaign took detours, much more time than you would have liked. I was most impressed that after letting it breathe for some time, that you returned and saw it through. Maybe that relationship had soured and you knew it needed space to evolve, that you needed space to evolve. Maybe you had developed some fear around failing. We all do at some point, though most of us are spared at being so public. During those years, I wondered if you'd ever go back, if it would be as public an affair, if you'd prefer to rekindle that relationship quietly. I'm projecting, of course, but I imagine it must have been both exciting and scary. And that's what makes it human. That's also what makes it so damn triumphant. You told me that somewhere around having done 47 V10s that you'd decided you'd do 100. Not just 100 boulders V10 and harder, but specifically 100 V10s. That means any time spent working on harder boulders was taking away from the goal. In my experience, having watched many climbers going through the process of improvement, that can be a perilous place. Perilous, that is, if you allow yourself to have that almost single-minded, maniacal focus that so many of us exhibit at times. You could have focused all of your energy on V10s. That goal may have been done sooner then, but it's likely you would have been a different climber than the one you've evolved into. The Swarm may not have gotten finished. We may not have gotten to see you giving your all at comps again. As a fan, I'm glad you didn't let that single goal, one I suspect you knew was attainable with time and the effort that you already understood, become the only goal. I'm glad because, like it or not, you're a role model for all of us. Your Instagram bio says it all. Be who you needed when you were younger. Wittingly or not, you've taught an entire generation of climbers to see themselves, be themselves, and love themselves. You've taught them, and all of us, how to set goals and see them through. And by see them through, I don't mean just succeeding at the arbitrary number we've assigned to represent where we want to be. I mean giving the effort. I mean putting yourself out there and risking maybe not attaining that number. I mean being the inspiring champion that you are, no matter the outcome of the goal that made us all look to begin with. I believe that big goals are important. Doing the Swarm was important. Standing on podiums again was important. 100 V10s is important. But more important, more impressive, and more admirable, in my eyes anyway, is the role that you've taken on as an ambassador for this community, as someone who can stand for what they believe in while still striving to be the best athlete they can be, as someone who can set serious goals, chase them, and still laugh at themselves, as someone who wants to make a difference to more than just their tick list, but also to their tick list, and as someone who can show out and still show up. Thanks for letting us learn from you, and thanks for letting us root for you.
Maybe Dono.
This time, this time, this time, this time, this time to build, 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 this time